Hello pilots and welcome back to another X-Wing Flights video brought to you by Out of Art Gaming. Once again we have another great game for you from TTS. Today we have Ben on the left flying his favoured Scum faction and Fraser on the right flying his Republic faction. But to talk through the game with me today we have on the channel...
Hi guys, I'm Amy. It's great to be back.
Hi Amy, welcome back. You guys might remember she was with us last week commentating and playing with her triple silencer list and the incredibly fluky and incredibly aggressive Avenger. If you haven't watched that video, there will be a tag in the top at the moment, so you can click that and watch that a little bit later on. But for the time being, we're going to go through these lists, so thanks very much for joining me, Amy.
Thank you.
So what I'll do, as we said earlier, you're not that familiar with Scum, so I'll go through Ben's list, and then you can go through Fraser's list in a moment. So, on our left with Ben, we have Joy Rekoff in the Fang Fighter with ion torpedoes. We have two G1A starfighters. We have Forlom with advanced sensors and the Mist Hunter title. We have Zuckus with Contraband Cybernetics and Sam Vessel. And we also have Unkar Plutt flying with everyone's favourite Hondo Anaka, rounding out at a nice 198 points there.
So Fraser has got two Eta 2s and both are fielding Jedis. So the first one is Anakin Skywalker, which is a PS6. He's in there with R2-D2, heavy laser cannons, extreme maneuvers, afterburners, and Duke. And then his Jedi Master, Obi-Wan Kenobi, is in the other one with R5 Astromech, heavy laser cannon, extreme maneuvers, afterburners, and Duke. So it's a pretty similar build. And all of that is at 164 points, so a huge initiative bid.
A very big initiative bid. That's 36 points. That's enough for a ship.
Yeah.
You could fit a whole other ship in that. So it's a very aggressive bid.
It is, I agree. I think it kind of, if you prefer that kind of flying style or, I don't know, I guess it's how you like. I prefer to have like an extra ship in there just to annoy things a little bit more. But at the same time, I have flown with players who, same as Fraser, will have a massive initiative bid and they still do incredibly well. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how this will all work.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for me, that is a crazy bid, and it's not something I would normally do. I think the biggest bid I've ever sort of had is about 16 points, and even then I was like, oh, should I take stuff off or should I add stuff on just to try and do more there? But, I mean, this kind of build with these two fully tooled out, there's no more space for anything else on them. And we have actually already seen one of those abilities being used straight away, which is the extreme maneuvers on Obi-Wan Kenobi using his the ship's ability there. So do you want to quickly go through the ship ability and extreme maneuvers for those who aren't as familiar with the Eta 2?
So for Obi-Wan, his pilot abilities, after you or a friendly Anakin Skywalker ship at range 0-3 executes a maneuver, if there are more enemy ships than other friendlies, you may spend a force, and if you do, that one gains a focus token. The extreme maneuvers is a force upgrade, so while you perform a boost action, you may spend one force to use the turn sharp template instead, which is quite cool, to be honest. I like that.
Yeah. So what Fraser did there as well with the actual inbuilt ship ability is that you can spend a force in the system phase to do a boost or barrel roll. So he spent one force for the boost, and then he spent another force to turn that into an extreme maneuvers boost. So it's very expensive force-wise, but it does get them both running parallel there, going to be shooting down that board to try and get some distance from everything, because they definitely want to control when they're taking that first engagement. They don't want to be caught.
Yeah, especially when it's two ships against four as well, so it's a bit intimidating to go up against.
Yeah, I mean, you just look at the difference in health there. Fraser's got 6 hull points total on his side. Ben's got 19 hull points and 8 shields. So there's a big difference in the survivability of those ships. But these Jedi are fast. They can move incredibly quickly. So
yeah, they're very tricksy as well, in the good sense. As opposed to be flying them, they're so maneuverable, and you can do all sorts of different things with them, especially when they've got the extreme maneuvers on as well. Just to have that ability to do the extra boosts and extra shenanigans, as you will, just to move about and cause a few problems for the opposition. So
absolutely. I mean, I love extreme maneuvers. I think it's a brilliant upgrade. It's obviously the force variant of Daredevil, but you don't get stress, so it's just absolutely crazy. So it'd be nice to see how often that gets pulled off. And we have some interesting shenanigans on Ben's side as well. He's not got a lot of upgrades on there, but he's obviously got Hondo, and we all love Hondo, and he's got a brilliant little ability, which is to choose 2 ships at range 1 to 3 of you that are friendly to each other, coordinate one of the chosen ships, then jam the other, ignoring range restrictions. So potentially we've got Unkar Plot there trying to give Zuckuss and Forlum some more shenanigans that they can use in there. So I'll be interested to see how that works and how that's going to benefit Ben.
Yeah, I mean, I have to admit, I love Hondo in Clone Wars and Rebels. I had absolutely no idea that he was a crew slot within X-Wing, so I was really surprised to see him, and that is an awesome ability as well.
He came with the Jango Fett Slave 1.
Ooh.
So I wouldn't be surprised if you haven't got him, because if you weren't able to get that on pre-order, that's like gold dust to get at the moment. There's a lot of ships that we're waiting for more to come in, at least in the stores in my area. So we'll have to wait and see when they come in. But yeah, we've got to just decided what maneuvers to do now. We've just seen Unkar Plutt pull up just behind Zuckuss there. So it doesn't look like he's going to be using that Hondo ability, but I mean, at the moment, I'm a little bit scared for Fraser. He's sort of heading towards a corner, and you definitely don't want to be trapped in a corner when you're an ace.
Yeah, I'm just trying to look at it and predict where he's going to go on the next ones. I mean, on the upside, Unkar Plot is facing the complete wrong direction. The Fang Fighter is miles away. However, they are quite fast when they want to be, so they can quite easily come up and have a look behind. Mind you, saying that, those 2 Mist Hunters are quite chunky, health and shields wise, and they are a lot closer. So
yeah, they don't have a. They're going to be difficult to get past. I mean, if they can get past them quite quickly, it's not the easiest of things to turn around. Although it's got the 2 and 4 K turn on there, it is stressful for them. And then to remove that stress, it's going to take quite a lot, except for possibly Forlom. He's a lot easier to get rid of his stress with his ship ability. So he's not so bothered by the stress, but Zuckuss, it'll be interesting.
Yeah.
And we've got a bump there from Anakin down in that bottom corner, so I mean, at this point, there's not going to be any shots coming at him, so it's not too bad, but hopefully that won't disrupt Fraser's plan there.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, I reckon he's probably going to try and come around to the right, just to get in on the action. Especially since they are not quite close to the edge of the map, but definitely getting there. They need to turn right to get back in the game.
Yeah, I don't really think that's going to be too much of a problem for them, though. Again, they're very manoeuvrable, very AC interceptor ships. quite scary when they can get in the action. I do find it quite interesting with the way that their red dice work. Obviously, they get 2 red dice normally, but if they do get you in the bullseye, they get that 3rd one, which is quite nice.
Yep.
Although with heavy laser cannon, I can imagine anytime it's in the bullseye beyond range 1, just going to be going for a heavy laser cannon shot. They want to be putting out as much damage as quickly as possible with those ships. Very hit and fade, get in, do some damage, try not to get hit and get back out and regroup.
Yeah, heavy laser cannons is definitely one of my favourites to use because it could just be so powerful.
It is a nice upgrade card, and obviously having to have it in the bullseye can be a bit tricky, but I find it surprising how often you can get things in bullseye though, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when bullseye first came out. Was it in version 1 where it came in?
It did come in version 1. You had it on the Kimagila.
That's the one.
When that came in, and they were obviously talking about it for when they were doing the changeover to 2nd edition, and there were a lot of things that were brought in that they were like, actually, that's really cool. We should sort of like, can we incorporate that in more things? And then suddenly you see it on so many things. You look at heavy laser cannon. There are multiple talents that require bullseye. So you're looking at crack shot, marksmanship, dead-eye shot. They all utilise that bullseye, which has that added caveat of them making those upgrades slightly cheaper because they are not as powerful, because they're a lot more situational. So I think that is quite nice that they've done that. Yeah.
I mean, to look at the actual bullseye itself, yeah, it can be difficult to get ships within the bullseye. However, as you just said, it's not as hard as what you think. Because I love using things like marksmanship, and fanatical was another favourite of mine for when I do my first order list. It is quite nice to use those upgrade cards alongside the bullseyes. Bonus as well when you've got heavy laser cannons on.
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, it does kind of suffer with some ships that then can't take particular things because they don't have bullseyes, because they've got turret arcs instead. But then they get other crazy stuff like veteran turret gunner and veteran tail gunner and stuff like that. So there's different things that they can take to utilise all these bits and pieces. But it looks like we've got the next set of moves. So Umkar is still there. It looks like we're actually getting a Hondo trigger there. So coordinating Zuckus for a focus and jamming Forlom. Ben is very practiced with this list. I've seen him fly it a few times, so he deliberately got that target lock on the obstacle there so that instead of having to be jammed and not be able to get a focus later, he can then remove that target lock. So he's still clear for his action in a moment. So really quite sensible use of that there.
That's quite cool. I had absolutely no idea that you could even do that.
Yeah, well, with jam, obviously, it either removes one of your green tokens or removes one of the locks you have acquired. So where he had that lock on the obstacle, it's sort of like a play that Ben does early on so that he can utilise Hondo better. And I'm not going to lie, it's a really good and clever move, and I've seen him use it a few times and it works really well. So it looks like obviously Zuckus is coming right in. He's covering a very wide bit of board space there, so I don't think that those Eta 2s are going to be able to get out of that. So I do anticipate we're going to get some shots fired in a moment.
Yeah, totally agree. I'm wondering whether Fraser's going to keep both the Eta 2s in formation just to try and focus fire down one of the Miss Hunters.
Yeah. I mean, the focus firing is definitely the aim of the game right now, because it's just got you want to try and get one ship down and off as quickly as possible, because if they don't start removing ships quickly, they are going to be in a bit of trouble.
Yeah.
And there's the Fang coming in. So whilst we're waiting for Ben to decide the actions of the Fang Fighter and Fraser to do his moves, really good point just to say, guys, obviously we hit 100 subscribers the other day, so that was absolutely fantastic. If you are enjoying these videos and you want to help support the channel, please do click that subscribe button and like the videos. We always aim to put a video out every week, so we normally have a video going up every Monday with extra bonus content occasionally with unboxings, and as we had the last weekend, we had the AMG transmission reactions from myself and James, so regular uploads going up there. So if you do want to support us, feel free to subscribe. We very much appreciate that. And it looks like we are going to get some shots, and Fraser is lining up that evade to get some juke action going.
Oh, in bullseye as well.
It's in bullseye and it's unobstructed bullseye as well.
That was quite nicely placed.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see on the screen just how close that actually is as well to being obstructed.
I think when this was being played, we actually had to double check that because we were just like, did that clear it? Did it? Because it was such a fine margin. But obviously in that case, it's clear. Range 3, you're going to be doing a heavy laser cannon there with Duke. That should hopefully be causing a fair amount of damage onto Forlom, so we will see.
Yeah.
So just waiting for the dice to get pulled out. Yeah, here we go.
Hey.
So yeah, heavy laser cannon, 4 dice there. Unfortunately, that's not the kind of roll you really want to be getting there.
No.
2 flanks and 2 focuses. And no target lock or focus to spend. Got the force, but do you really want to be spending 2 force when it's 2v2? Knowing as well that Forlom has 2 calculates at the moment.
Yeah, I'd hold off on the force. Definitely hold off from using it.
Well, looks like spending 1 force there. So, forcing Forlom to spend a calculate there. So remove the token at least, so that's a plus.
Does Duke kick in with that one?
No, Duke is before you modify dice, so Duke would kick in after. So Duke would kick in if he'd rolled a natural evade, then you Duke it. Then you would Duke it down, and then you would use your calculates. But you can't. All right, they can't spend the calculate, get the evade, and then you Duke because that's just way too powerful. So
yeah,
Duke is before the modify dice step.
Yeah, that makes sense. It's been a long time since I've used it, even though it is a really good card. I really need to start using it a lot more.
Yeah, it's a favourite of mine. We got another heavy laser cannon shot. Again, not a great shot. 2 blanks coming back in. We've got a crit and a focus. I mean, the crit's going to be knocked down to just a regular hit. So spending a force on Obi-Wan there. So that's 2 hits.
Oh, wow.
Now, here is where you now Duke it. So, yeah. It's going to Duke 1 down. Will Ben now use the calculate to put it back to an evade, or will he just take that shield? He took the shield. decided to save that calculate for the attack, which I think is a good option.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
I mean, at the moment, he's going to be having... But either of those two ships are going to be obstructed. Range 3, so you're looking at 4, 5 evade dice. So it looks like it's an unobstructed shot. No, definitely obstructed shot. So that'll be 5 evade dice there for Fraser. And 2 hits, not too bad, not too shabby. And 2 evades.
Yeah, that was quite good.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of expect that when you're rolling that many green dice. I mean, we know green dice are horrible and they will happily betray you at a moment's notice.
Yeah, they've betrayed me many a times.
So we've got a range 2 shot there from Zuckus. Now, Zuckus is using his ability there. While you perform a primary attack, you may roll 1 additional attack die. If you do, the defender rolls 1 additional defense die. So trying to make yourself a bit stronger on the offense does provide them with that additional defense, but it can still be quite powerful. So managed 2 hits and a crit there. And that's 2 evades, so going to be spending that evade token. It's almost a shame there's nothing to follow up with a shot now, because that would leave Obi-Wan a bit more open.
Yeah, definitely. Then again, they have got 2 force left each to back them up.
So, I mean, that is something that does make them quite powerful. I mean, they're back up to their full force complement now, so they've got all of their maneuverability shenanigans, plenty of things that they can do here. So just going to be interesting to see if Ben will move that stress from Forlom onto Zuckus with his ability. So at the start of the end phase, you may choose one ship at range 0 to 1. If you do, transfer 1 of your stress tokens to that ship. And he has transferred that over to Zuckus. I think that is quite sensible there.
Yeah, definitely.
Because at this point, you're looking at where Forlom is currently placed. He's got that obstacle right in front of him. He's going to want to be doing some form of advanced sensors maneuver to not fly over that. And having the Mist Hunter title, I would not be surprised if we see an advanced sensors barrel roll.
Yeah, because I can see Bankarplot sort of still following just behind. I can see the Fang Fighter definitely coming in faster, at least doing some form of straight up bank just to get into the game, because they are hanging back a little bit.
Yeah.
I think the Jedis, I'd like to say that they're still going to stay in formation flying to focus fire ships down. However, they have still got the obstacle fairly close. I'm wondering whether they're going to go left and potentially take down a Mist Hunter and a Quad Jumper, or whether they're going to go right and maybe take out Joy Rekoff with her ion torpedoes.
It's interesting. I think that they would still prefer to be looking to try and take down those Mist Hunters. They are a considerable amount of points as well. So if you're able to get rid of those, that is going to be a big help. And that's where I would be looking to put my target.
Yeah, I think probably maybe target down the Forlom, especially when he's got the obstacle right in front.
Yeah, not only that, with that stress moving ability as well, you don't want to run the risk of that stress ended up on either of your two ships. He's got the Mist Hunter ability, which provides him with the ability to barrel roll, so it makes him slightly more maneuverable. So I would suggest that would be the direction to head in. And yeah, I can imagine that Fang fight is going to try and get in as quickly as possible.
Yeah, especially with a couple of asteroids coming up as well. Be quite nice to use some ion torpedoes, see if you can ion it onto an obstacle.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to use his ion torpedoes in that way. From what I've seen of the ion torpedoes, the way he uses them, he doesn't use it for that purpose. His ability allows him to spend a charge from an upgrade. So while you perform an attack, you may spend one charge from an equipped upgrade. If you do, the defender rolls one fewer defense die. So he'll very much be using Joy as an ace hunter there to try and cause some serious shenanigans.
Well, they're deciding to go left. Potentially going to block off Zuckus, depending on where they decide to go.
Yeah, it does look like we're going to get a bump there.
I mean, Anakin's definitely gone a little bit further away.
Yeah.
He's got quite a lot of space in front of him as well, just to try and open up his options as to who he's going to shoot at.
Yeah, however, what I find interesting there is that with him moving back that way, it does sort of open him up to being attacked from Joy quite quickly. But again, he can move very quickly. Oh, there we go. There's the advanced sensors barrel roll from Forlom.
That was quite clever. However, it looks as if they've positioned themselves range 1, possibly still in arc from Anakin as well.
Yeah, so I think Anakin is out. Well, Anakin's still to move, so I doubt he'll still be in Zuckus's arc. Be interesting to see what Obi-Wan has dialed in, because right now, like, is he going to leapfrog over Zuckus and see if he can take out Unkar Plutt? Will Anakin also try and zip past everyone? Oh, so just going for a straight there. So
okay,
that's definitely a disengage maneuver there to try and come back in at a slightly better angle. Oh, and he is within range 1, so Obi-Wan's ability does trigger there.
It's very close range 1 as well.
Yeah. It's the sort of range 1 that if you were playing in real life, it'd be so hard to actually judge.
Yeah, I was just thinking that as well, actually.
So as Anakin also doing is straight, getting himself out of all of those arcs there, which is quite handy for himself. Looks like we've got an extreme maneuver to get himself lined up nicely on Ankar Plot.
Also looks as well as if he has still got Zuckus in arc as well. Of course, he's got no actions or green tokens available for modification.
Yeah, which is a bit of a shame for him. Although saying that, now he's within range 1 of Zuckus, he'll be able to utilise Obi-Wan's ability.
Yep.
So obviously another reason why you would pair them up together. So after you or a friendly Anakin Skywalker ship at range 0 to 3 executes a maneuver, if there are more enemy ships than other friendly ships at range 0 to 1 of that ship, you may spend 1 force. If you do, that ship gains 1 focus token. Ooh, and then a barrel roll there as well.
Yeah, so he's definitely out of anyone's arc. I think it's fair to say he's definitely got it in for Ankar Plot and Hondu Onaka.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple of things you've got to look at there with Ankar Plot and Hondo. Hondo is a really powerful card, and also the tractor beam ability on the Quadrajet is something that you want to be getting off the board as quickly as possible.
Yeah. Looks as if he's going to do a range 1 shot.
Yeah. Oh, that's not good. Hit crit. I mean, hit crit, that's good, but the 2 blanks in there.
Yeah.
Dice are not loving those Jedi at the moment. They need to get Qui-Gon Jinn on there. He'd be able to help those dice.
Oh gosh, hands down.
Oh, that's a double evade, but definitely going to be juking one of... Oh no, he doesn't have the...
He's not evading.
Have the evade to juke. Oh, that is disappointing, because that was a lovely lined up shot there.
Mm. And that was a very quick round. So where do you think the Scum ships are going to be moving next?
Well, they've got to turn around, basically, and that's the only thing they need to do. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Fang Fighter will try and come up through in between the rocks. You'll probably just get some hard maneuvers from the G1As. Difficult to really say, like maybe 2 hards from Forlom and Zuckus.
Yeah, they're normal maneuvers, aren't they? Or are they blue maneuvers?
They're white maneuvers. They're only blues of the 1 and 2 straight and the 1 banks. But I think they're going to want to start trying to get back up quite quickly. Ankar Plot, I mean, he could do anything really. His dial is, other than his advanced maneuvers on there, so the 2 Talon, the 2 Sloop, the 1 reverse, and the 2 reverse, they're all white and blue, so he's free to do whatever he wants. So I reckon 2 hards from Forlom and Zuckus, maybe 2 or 3 hard from Joy, and a 1 hard from Ankar Plot. Maybe trying to see if they can pin Obi-Wan in the corner, depending on what he does. I mean, what would you do with the Jedi right now?
For Anakin, I would definitely try some form of maneuver going towards the left, trying to get close to one of the Mist Hunters or even the Quad Jumper to try and get them out. With Obi, maybe try and maneuver him out of the way of the gas cloud, and some form of either a K-turn if they've got it on their dials, or maybe just put them round on a hard manoeuvre.
I mean, they've got the K-turn, they've got the 4 K-turn, or they've got the 2 Talon, which is purple. But I think what would be better for them is to, I think for both of them, it might be preferable for them to disengage this turn and come back together.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, they're not in a great spot to both be able to engage simultaneously unless they were to both do the 2 Talons.
So there's some force being used there.
Yeah. Well, he had to force barrel roll across, otherwise he was going to be hitting that and potentially taking a strain, and you definitely don't want those at negative. So there was the 2 Talon, 2 Sloop even.
That was quite nice, actually.
And there's the 2 hard. Oh, 2 Talon there. Interesting. That actually, to be honest, that's not too bad there, I don't think.
No. And then the Fang coming straight in with the hard. Wow.
Yeah, so very much like they want to be trying to catch them now. So I think if Fraser is disengaged, I think he's in a good position. That's not disengaging.
No.
That's definitely going a direction I would not have picked. I think that is running the risk of trapping yourself in a corner right there.
Yeah, definitely. You know what? I can't stop looking at the quad jumper, knowing that Hondo's in there, and all I've got going through my head is, "Hello, my friends."
Yeah, absolutely.
It's just stuck in my head.
It is great. I mean, I could just imagine like Hondo is probably annoying the absolute hell out of Unkar Plat right now.
Yeah.
Because I can imagine that he's a more of a just to the point focused guy, whereas Hondo is crazy. He's just crazy. We all love him, but he's probably doing Unkar Plat's head in right now. So he's probably there. He's probably there wondering, where's the eject button? Where is the eject button? So we get a booster from Obi, really putting himself in the corner. Anakin is Anakin's doing that purple Talon roll.
Nice.
I love that purple Talon roll. It's really nice. Like, especially when you could actually stick it, you could do an action off of it, and you could be super cheeky and do extreme maneuvers off the back of it. You could just literally almost turn on a penny there. So yeah, there we go. Anakin is fully disengaging now, which I think is a really good option.
Yeah. I'm wondering as well if Obi is potentially out of range.
I do, yeah. They've gone down to Unkar there, and there was no range, so Obi gets nothing shot at him, but I think that all of Ben's stuff is just going to move towards Obi-Wan. and try and create a bit of a kill box there. And I think that Obi-Wan is not going to be in for a particularly great time right now.
No, he's probably going to be saying his usual catchphrase of, I've got a bad feeling about this.
Yeah.
I could see it happening.
Flying is for droids.
Yes.
I mean, I find it absolutely hilarious how he always professes how much he hates flying, but anytime you see him fly, he's really good. And in the game, he's initiative 5, so he is obviously a pretty good pilot. But I suppose when you've got that much force ability behind you, you're always going to be a pretty good pilot.
Oh gosh, yeah. I wonder what he would think about pod racing.
I'm pretty
Probably
sure
wouldn't be a fan.
I'm pretty sure there's some lines in the Phantom Menace for that. And I'm pretty sure someone is going to put it in the comments, whatever those lines are, and tell us that we are fools for not knowing them off the top of our head. But I'm not going to lie, Phantom Menace is probably one of the ones that I've watched the least out of all of them. Except, obviously, for the Duel of Fates, because that fight scene with Maul is amazing.
Yes. I was actually playing that full blast on the way home from work the other day in the car. It was great. All I could think about was that fight scene in the hangar.
I mean, you're lucky enough to be able to have to drive home from work. Oh, you know what? There's a lot of people that are loving the lockdown working from home life. I've been working from home now for 11 months, and call me crazy, call me odd, I miss the office. I miss being able to actually see some of the people I work with. So as well as that, obviously, I miss being able to actually get out and play X-Wing with other people, using the actual ships. I do miss all of that. But yeah, I mean, we've got TTS to help us. But yeah, I mean, being able to actually have to drive home from work does, other than the petrol costs, sound quite nice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm quite lucky in the sense of, work's only about a 5-10 minutes drive away. I lone work as a key worker, so it's not too bad. I mean, I do get really, really excited when my colleagues come into the office and we can completely nerd up on Star Wars, Lord of the Rings, you name it. We'll chat about it and whatnot, socially distance, of course. But yeah, I agree. I fully am missing going down to the club and handling my models, and seeing people and just playing at a proper table. But saying that, TTS has literally been a lifesaver throughout the whole of the pandemic, because we've still been able to play and play against new people.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I got into TTS quite late. I only purchased it last month in January. But for me, I enjoy it. I think there are some good advantages on TTS. I think that the games tend to flow a bit quicker because there's no having to, like when you're moving a ship, you don't have to train track it to see if it's going to bump. Obviously, you don't have to measure up for ranges. So I think you get a few more rounds in, actually. But again, sometimes you also can't get down to the ship level very easily to be able to really judge, is that going to be in arc? Will I be able to miss that obstacle if I do that maneuver? There's things, there's swings and roundabouts for it. But I mean, the fact that we've got it is fantastic. So, I mean, you look, 5-10 years ago, if we were in a lockdown, we definitely wouldn't have this. I mean, we didn't have X-Wing 10 years ago, but we'd definitely be in a very different position. So I think we are very lucky. Unfortunately, on the subject of luck, I don't think Obi-Wan is going to be very lucky right now. He's in a tricksy position, and Anakin is not close enough to be able to help him out there.
No, I should imagine he's probably quite nervous in that position, seeing his master being ganged up on like that.
Oh no, Anakin is probably reveling in it. He's probably just there yeah, I'm going to come in and save the day, but...
As always.
will he be able to get in quick enough to save Obi-Wan is the big question. Oh, and he does actually have
Oh, wow.
a range 3 shot there through the gas cloud on Joy. 1 hit. It's not going to do anything. Joy's got a focus and he's got the gas cloud. So there's the natural evade he needed. There's the gas cloud evade, and he had the focuses there. So not really. I mean, a pot shot is a pot shot. If you'd have been able to take away that token, that would have been quite nice, but it wasn't to be. Now we've got Obi-Wan.
Range 1. Ooh.
Range 1 bullseye into Forlom. This is where you want to be.
It's a good position to be in for attacking. Probably not for defending.
Yeah. I mean,
against one.
Spending that focus there, he kind of has to.
Yeah.
So that's 3 shields.
I'd
Off.
say that's successful.
Yeah, that's good. Unfortunately, now's the return fire. So we've got Joy Rekoff first, and I mentioned his ability earlier. Looks like he's about to trigger that. So I'll just see if he does flip a charge. No, it doesn't look like he triggered it, actually. Oh, no, yeah, he has triggered that. So spending one of his ion token charges there and the focus, getting hit, crit, removing an evade token from Obi-Wan, so guaranteeing that crit through. And that's your natural evades there. That is just kind of brutal.
That was quite good.
Yeah. And that crit is stunned pilots. So not the worst crit to get.
No, I mean, it could have been worse.
Yeah. I mean, he's definitely got to be careful of those obstacles now, because if he overlaps them or maneuvers through them, that is a damage. So now we've got Forlom range 1. Going to spend the target lock when you've already got hit crits. Don't blame him.
Oh.
Ooh, that's just nasty. And the thing is, at the moment, Obi-Wan has no force. He needs to. Oh, so that's another crit going through.
Oh no, spent the evade.
Oh, did he have the evade there?
Yeah, he just used it. But now he's completely naked defense-wise.
I couldn't see the evade there. Okay, so again, Zucker's using his ability, so it'll be 4-on-4. Zucker's with a focus. I wouldn't feel very confident. Oh, 4-on-5, so it must be range 3 as well. Hit crit. Oh, this is just not good. And that's 2 evade, so that is the crit going through.
Ouch.
So there's 1 crit we wanted to avoid, and that was the crit he actually got, which was a direct hit.
No.
So things have just got a lot tougher there for Fraser, losing 1 of his ships. So if you were in Fraser's position right now, what would be your thoughts? What would you be looking to try and do?
I'll be trying not to cry because I've lost one of my Jedi. Yeah. way I'm thinking about it is Ben has definitely got to turn around and get out of that corner because he is facing the corner of the board. So that would make his moves quite predictable, or fairly predictable, shall I say. For Fraser, I would want to force barrel roll to get out of the way of the gas cloud, and definitely do some form of fast maneuver to get back in the game and see if we can potentially get some good shots in. As to which ship to go for next, I personally don't know. They're all going to be in the same area.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, you have had quite recent experience of having one ship versus multiples. So it's a bit of a tricky one. It makes it a bit easier for yourself in that there's less that you only have to think about one ship, so you can concentrate solely on that. It does mean that your damage output is a lot lower, but you essentially have more targets. And as James found out the other day, trying to hunt down one fast maneuverable ship can be quite tricky. So, I mean, what Fraser would ideally like to be doing is to try and, I think, get in behind them and see if he can stay in a position where he's limiting the amount of shots he's getting back, while still trying to eat away at those ships. It's always a shame that Forlom is the furthest away from him because he's the one that's taken damage so far.
Yeah.
And he is the most expensive ship on Ben's side. So if he was able to take out Forlom, that would get him into a good position. Although saying that Unkar, Platt and Zuckus are potentially frustrating in the abilities that they have with the tractor beaming and the passing of the stress. So he's got to sort of stay a bit away from those whilst trying to also get rid of them.
Yeah.
It's interesting, but I mean, if any ship has the potential to hold its own here, I think Anakin in the Eta 2 is going to be one of them. He's got a lot of tools there to be able to do that. He's very maneuverable. He's got his afterburners as well. He's still got one charge there on that, so he can still move around after and just be quite unpredictable. So yeah, Fraser's just there really thinking about what he wants to do. So checking the system phase for Zam Vessel there. So not a card we see very often. It's, again, another new card that comes with the Jango Fett Slave 1. I'm not very familiar with it. I've only actually come up against it once, and it didn't actually get used. But I'm going to bring up the details for Zam Vessels. So you get the standard upgrade card with her. So set up, lose 2 charges. During the system phase, you may assign one of your secret conditions to yourself face down. And that's the you should thank me and you'd better mean business. So obviously we don't know which one Ben has there face down. But the 2 cards you've got the you'd better mean business. This condition is assigned face down. Reveal it after you defend. After you defend, you may spend 2 charges from Zam Vessel. If you do, perform a bonus attack against the defender. At the end of the engagement phase, if this card is face down and you're in an enemy ship's firing arc, you may reveal this card. If you do, Zam Vessel recovers 2 charges. At the start of the system phase, remove this condition. So there's a lot of words on there.
Yeah.
That's just one of them. The other secret condition is you got the you should thank me. So this condition is also assigned face down. Reveal it after you defend. After you defend, Zam Vessel recovers 1 charge. Then you may acquire a lock on the attacker. At the end of the engagement phase, if this card is face down and you're in an enemy's firing arc, you may reveal the card and spend 2 charges from Zam Vessel. If you do, you may perform a bonus attack. At the start of the system phase, remove this condition. So you've got to try and remember what you've got face down, which I'm not going to lie. This isn't a game where we used to face down cards, so it can be quite tricky to have to remember that.
Yeah. So it looks as if Anakin is going to do some hard shooting into Zuckuss. I think that's probably a wise idea, especially...
Yeah, range 1 in the bullseye with a force. I can't see that he's got any tokens there.
I think he's got a focus.
Or is it hidden under the range?
Oh,
yeah, there's the focus. This is good. This is good. This is exactly what Fraser is wanting. That's absolutely, those are the shots that Fraser was wanting early game. That's all the shields off there. It does trigger Sam Vessel, and it was the "you should thank me." So Sam Vessel has just provided Zuckuss there with a target lock onto Anakin. So by the looks of it, I don't think anything has Anakin in arc. So that was very well positioned there by Fraser. Also, how much of the board did he clear there?
Quite a lot. I mean, he was up on top of the Death Star at least, which is quite a fair amount away. Yeah,
force barrel roll, 4 or 5 forward, afterburners for the boost, and then the focus. Yeah, he absolutely zipped across there. And again, it just shows the power. And Forlom has just moved his stress over to Joy there. Obviously, the Fang Fighter, definitely a lot easier to get rid of stress than pretty much any other ship.
Yeah.
So I think Anakin's in a fairly nice position. If he can continue to keep himself behind those mist hunters, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some K-turn shenanigans from them.
Yeah, I was just thinking that as well.
It's definitely interesting. He's very much in a position to start taking more damage off them and getting points on the board.
Yeah, and he's a PS6 as well, so of course he's going to move last, shoot first.
Yeah.
So, and with all of his maneuverability and shenanigans, doesn't really matter too much. Well, wherever Ben's going, Fraser's got enough room to try and get out of the way a little bit more.
Yeah.
But still get quite a few shots in.
I mean, I'm just trying to think what I would be doing. So if I was Ben, obviously it's going to be some form of 2 maneuver for Joy. Probably a 2 hard to the left around that gas cloud, clear that stress. I wouldn't be surprised if we see some form... I want to say K-turn, but could we possibly see stops from both G1As trying to anticipate maybe Anakin doing some form of 2 maneuver to the right, maybe?
Possibly.
And Unkar, I think no matter what happens with Unkar Plut, unless he does a reverse maneuver, he's most likely going to bump. Although I'd like to see a reverse maneuver because we never see a reverse maneuver, but I think that would take him off the board.
Yeah, I think it would as well, looking at how close that is.
Well, they say that. Did he stress himself out last turn? Did he do some form of hard turn? Oh, so there's the extreme maneuvers boost there in the system phase from Anakin. So Anakin is disengaging this turn. Yeah, he was stressed. So there's the bump from Unkar plot that we kind of knew was coming. So if Zuckus has done a too hard actually for Zuckus would be pretty good now, because I reckon that'd be perfectly lined up for trapping. But if he did a K-turn, it wouldn't be terrible. Yeah, there we go. There's the K-turn.
Yeah.
And didn't trigger. I don't think it triggered Contraband Cybernetics, which is a bit surprising. I don't think we'll see a K-turn from Forlom though.
I don't think there's enough room.
No, even if he did the 4K turn, I don't think it would quite fit. So possibly a turn maneuver down the board would still work out really nice actually, because it'd start getting that arc opened up. So advanced censoring and doing the stop.
Okay.
That was half right. Getting his calculate because of his ability. So I think he was hoping for Anakin to go into that gap there. And if Anakin had have got in that gap, that would have been absolutely crazy. But we'll see where Anakin goes. It's not gonna be anything too insane, as he's not got any force to do a Talon roll. And he's got a lot of target locks on him now, so...
Yeah, I'd want him to do some form of left or fast forward just to get out of range and out of arc, just disengage, which it looks as if he's done.
Yeah, so we've got a 3 hard there, which I think is going to get him just out of range of Zuckus. Yeah, it should be out of range of Zuckus. I say that, but you know what? Sometimes it's actually quite hard to judge.
Yeah. At least it would be range 3 and potentially through a rock as well.
Yeah. Oh, trying to barrel roll. Can't barrel roll that way, so going to barrel roll the other way, which is definitely going to get him out of range. So no shots coming in this turn. So, I mean, I think that was... Yeah, that was a fairly good move there from Fraser. Unfortunately, I think he does need to... I think at this stage, with 14 and a half minutes left on the clock, he's going to need to really kick it up a notch.
Yeah, I mean, it looks as if he's only about 1 whole point away from getting half points at least on one or both of the missed hunters. If he can do that.
Yeah. I mean, 1 point on Forlom gives him 30 points, 1 point on Zuckus gives him 25. That's 26 points. Problem is that still leaves him behind.
Yeah.
So he will need to... Ideally, he needs to try and get one of them off the board and then half point the other would be a better option. Unless if he had enough time to half point both and get rid of Joy or Unkar. But again, that would require quite a lot. I think he needs to concentrate on the G1As at the moment, because that's where you've got 112 points there. So that's your best target, to be honest, if it was me.
Yeah.
And you just got to hope that you get in a position where you can take some shots at them, and the Fang Fighter and the Quadrijet aren't there getting you back. But it's difficult because you don't have enough time to really disengage and get that ideal angle. I think this turn Fraser's going to have to come up the middle there. He's going to have to go through those rocks, hoping that Forlom is going to be ahead of him, I reckon. I mean, he's moved his stress onto Joy, so Forlom's got a free dial of what he can do. So And Zuckus is in a nice position just to do a blue maneuver to clear that stress.
Yeah, I think either way, he's definitely got to get around into the middle. So definitely going to see some barrel rolls and boosts, maybe some left banks or sharps just to get back into the middle.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, obviously, we're seeing Uncard plot on the table here is like a bit of a support ship, adding some shenanigans. Do we think that the new Hawk for Scum might start seeing a bit more play? A, because it looks amazing, and B, because there's going to be some interesting pilots in there.
Oh yes. To be honest, the Hawk definitely needed to be brought back out again. It is a nice little ship, and with the right pilots and the right upgrades, it is a really, really fun ship to fly. I mean, I remember flying it back in version 1, and I had an absolute laugh with it, especially with Mouldy Crow stuck on as well for all those stackable focuses.
Yeah.
It was brilliant, but the model looks so cool.
Yeah, I mean, I still think that the original model was quite cool, but I think in that black and grey paint scheme, it just looks absolutely amazing. But I've never flown my Hawk. So I just got it in a bundle of ships for... a friend of mine was selling them, and my wife was nice enough to buy them for my birthday, which at the time I think more than doubled my collection of ships, so I was quite happy about that.
Yeah, sounds like me with my TIE Phantom. I think after buying the base game, when X-Wing first got released, I bought the Phantom with like an Amazon gift card, something like that, and I've never actually flown it, even though it is an incredibly powerful ship, and I know it's one of your favourites.
I'm almost offended that you've not flown the Phantom. I love the Phantom. It was in version 1. I used to love having Soontifel and Whisper. It was brilliant flying them together. Version 2, again, I still love the Phantom. I actually have 3 of them because I had the opportunity to buy 2 more and a Decimator. 2 Phantoms and a Decimator for 20 quid. And I was like, well, you can't say no to that.
Oh gosh, no.
Which meant I now have 2 Decimators and 3 Phantoms. It's a shame you can't fit that all in the list, but I love my Phantoms. I think it's such a cool ship. It's up there with the Defender and being like a very unique looking ship. Oh, we've got a shot there from Zuckus just catching Anakin.
Oh wow.
But yeah, I love the Phantom.
I definitely need to get a few lists made up of it.
Yeah. Ooh, so going to spend that focus for 2 hits. In theory, should be fine. Should be absolutely fine.
Hands down fine.
Yeah. Had the evade token, had a force should he wanted to use it. Not a problem there. Worth the pot shot from Zuckus. But again, still surprised. I think Fraser should have come in a bit faster there.
Yeah, I agree. Especially with what, 8.5, 7 minutes left?
Yeah, 8.5 minutes left, yeah.
I tend to go a little bit more on the offensive.
We definitely know that. I mean, we saw you with Avenger last week, and there was no stopping you in Avenger. You just kept going for it, and I'm not going to lie, it was brilliant to watch, and it was just a great example of just because things haven't really gone your way, you're never down and out. You can still really show off that ship, and yeah, I think James was getting a bit. He'll never actually say it, but I can imagine there was a part of him getting a bit annoyed trying to have to catch it.
I have to admit, it is one of those lists where as soon as I mention it at the club, they go, "Oh, really? Don't know why? Why bring the triple silencers back out, or my double decimators, or my double defenders?" It's a why, Amy? Why do you do this to us?
I mean, I actually got around to flying double defenders the other day, and it was the first time I'd flown double defenders since second edition had come out. And yeah, I can see why at the moment you can't do triple defenders. Obviously, myself and James had a bit of a discussion when we were breaking down the atomic mass transmission of ways they could potentially make triple defenders a thing. But it would be, at the moment, if you just left it as the abilities that they've got, the complete ship stats that they've got, and just reduce them so you could, no, too powerful. Like, I'd love it, but too powerful. They're so maneuverable. Gaining that evade token after a speed 3 to 5 maneuver, it's just, they're insane. And they look cool. They look so cool.
Oh gosh, yeah. Hands down, they look amazing.
I mean, I don't think that there's truly any ship in the game that I don't like the look of. Obviously, there are ships I prefer, but I don't think there's any ship that I could say that I dislike. So
yeah, they're all quite cool. I mean, I think, yeah, I mean, the only one I'd say that I probably likes the least is the K-Wing. But even then, I still like the look of it. I think it's more a bit of a, I'm sorry. Are you... you just basically picking some of my favourite ships and saying that you're not going to fly them and you don't like... why did people hate the K-Wing? Guys, in the comments down below, I'm gonna see... I want to know, yes or no for the K-Wing. Do we like it? Like, ignore the pilots on there. Yes, I know that they need some work, but as a model, K-Wing, yes or no? Do we like it or do we not? I love the K-Wing. Again, I have 3 of them. I think they're brilliant. I think they look amazing. I love them. When I first started the game, I started with Empire, and seeing the K-Wing was like one of the main reasons that I went, I want to get Rebels as well now because I love the K-Wing. Amy, you disappoint me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I don't dislike it, but if you were to line up all of the, if we were to put all of our models on the table,
we might have enough room.
Yeah, I think we've probably got triple digits maybe between you, me, and James for the ships that we've got.
I have triple digits on my own. So, I mean, there's very few ships I don't own at the moment.
Ooh.
Well, that's not a bad shot. Definitely spend a 4 there. That's bullseye on Unkar.
Oh, it's going through.
Well, he's gonna juke that down. Will Unkar spend that force to only?
Yeah, spend.
Oh no, that was actually on Forlom. So that was heavy laser cannon on Forlom. Perfect. That's exactly. I mean, Ben looks like he wants to give points away and just wants to take the whole deck of cards there. Again, that's something that's a bit frustrating on TTS. But yeah, so finally some points on the board there for Fraser. So avoiding that dreaded tabling. So let's see, does Joy have... I don't think... No, Joy's not got a shot. So it's all down to whether Forlom has a cheeky little shot in there. No. Unkar.
So definitely.
Yeah, Unkar does. Range 2. Two hits, 2 evades. And the evade token, absolutely fine.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. Anakin hasn't actually taken many shots against him. I think he's probably taken a handful of shots against him all game. And even Obi-Wan had only taken about a handful. It's just, unfortunately, most of that handful was in one big hit. So...
Yeah, and he's still full health as well. He's doing quite well on his own.
Full health, 2 force, no afterburners at the moment. He's got R2-D2 should he need him. It's almost a shame earlier as well that it was the direct hit, because Obi-Wan would have been able to use his R5 astromech to sort of keep himself a bit healthier. So, but it's definitely going to be interesting. I mean, what Fraser needs to do here is sort of try and work out. He needs to really think about what Ben is going to do, and then try and do something. And again, it sounds very cliche. It is very much exactly what you do in this game, but he needs to think really hard about what Ben's doing, because he needs to be able to do something to really counteract that. So you can almost guarantee that Unkar and Forlorn are going to be coming in close. So does Fraser want to be doing something that hops over to try and get a shot in behind them? But then you've got Zuckuss, who looks like he's ready to sweep in round the back. Joy's definitely coming in on a too hard to the left. Oh,
it's difficult to call. However, it is, with just under 2 minutes left, I would definitely say that it's all or nothing. This is probably going to be the last round. I don't know. You got choice of, two different pairs of ships. Who do you want to go after? Because you've got a Mist Hunter in each. I'd definitely say go more towards Forlorn, because he's got 3 hull left. If you can get within range 1 and get a good dice roll, that's another 30 points.
Yeah, it's not enough to win the game, but it is definitely enough to make you feel a bit better. I mean, not that I think Fraser needs that right now. Yes, he lost Obi-Wan really early, but you know what? Anakin has got in, stung those ships, got back out. I think Fraser has flown Anakin very well in this. He was unfortunate with Obi-Wan. I think if instead of turning towards that board edge, if he'd have disengaged, I think we may actually still see Obi-Wan on the board right now. And obviously with no shields, taking that direct hit as your second crit is absolute nightmare fuel. But yeah, I think this is going to be the last round. And I think your only path to victory here is to get rid of Joy or Zuckuss on top of those half points. Because if you get rid of either of those, you're on 81 for Joy and 82 for Zuckuss. It would require some incredible rolling and some incredible crit damage in there.
Yeah.
So you'd almost want to trigger a hull breach or a fuel leak straight away into direct hits on either of them. But yeah, I think it's really tricky. But the dials are set, so they're going to play the last round. Checking the system phase. Anakin not moving. Oh no, that's not good for Anakin.
Oh.
You definitely do not want to be in front of a quadrijet.
Oh.
So that is... So Space Chug Tractor Array, action. Choose a ship in your front arc at range 1. That ship goes 1 tractor token or 2 tractor tokens if it's in your bullseye. So 1 tractor token. And which direction? So I think the best option is to move it to ship left. Obviously here, you know where your ships are going to be, so... There we go, ship left. Oh, and now he's at -1 evade as well, so life has just got a lot trickier for Anakin there.
Yeah.
If he was looking to do some form of K-turn maneuver, that's going to plonk him on the rock. So let's hope that wasn't set in. barrel roll with Mist Hunter from Forlorn. Yeah. There's definitely a kill box for me here.
Yep, they're definitely pinning down. Oh.
There's also, I can't see many places where Anakin will actually be able to fit. Where is that fan going?
Of course.
Yeah. I think all options for Anakin are now blocked off. Whatever move he's going to do is, unless he does like some form of one bang to the right, everything he's going to do is blocked, and he's going to be getting shot. Yeah, there we go. So it was actually a 3 hard to the left. So he's bumped into Zuckus, and his only option to shoot is Joy Rekoff in the Fang Fighter. However, you don't really want to be facing a Fang Fighter that close in the front arc.
No. And just same with the Jedi.
Oh, that's not a great roll. So, do you spend the Force? I mean, you kind of have to. You need to get the damage in. So, hit crit. Unfortunately, no, with Concordia face off. So
that's evaded.
That is evaded. So, I mean, that's definitely game. Obviously, we'll just need to see what we get coming back. So, range 1 from Joy. Hit crit. Is he going to be... He's going to be super cheeky. He is going to spend his last ion token, reduce Anakin down to 1 die. So it's just a hit and a crit. So... Oh, no, it's just a crit, sorry. Which is damage sensor array. So... not anything that's going to affect anything, but you cannot perform any actions except focus actions and actions from damage cards. At this stage, it's an irrelevant crit with nothing on the timer. So that would be Forlorn. Another hit crit. At least have 2 evades. That's another crit going through. And that crit is Hull Breach, I believe.
Ouch.
Yes, Hull Breach. And can Unkar Plut with the plucky Hondo Anaka finish him off with 2 hits? And a focus evade with no tokens. Yes, he can. So, not great at the end there, but to be honest, I'm not going to lie, Fraser did fly Anakin really well there. It's just unfortunate he didn't have his master and friend there to help him along. I think, again, if Fraser had Obi-Wan a bit longer, it would have been a very different game. But, you know what? Well flown there by Fraser. Did a really good job there. Limited the amount of shots you were getting in. And it was only the one time you had 3 pilots shooting you that it didn't go to plan. So, good work. And again, Ben, he knew exactly what you wanted to do with those ships. He showed some really good skills there for us. So, the interesting Hondo... action with the target lock on the obstruction. Really nice, I like that.
That was quite nice, especially that last bit with all 4 of them against him. It's like, oh no.
Yeah. Okay, well, like I said, another fantastic game from the players. So thank you very much for coming on to play for us there, Ben and Fraser. And Amy, again, thank you very much for coming along to commentate for us. I know they're not factions you normally fly, but it's great to have you watching along with us.
Thank you very much. It's been great to be back, and I've definitely learned a little bit more about the Jedis and definitely a lot more about Scum. It's kind of inspired me to try and get back into playing the faction. So I've not flown it since 1.0, so I'm already thinking up some lists in my head to try and use. So yeah, thank you very much for having me back.
No worries, definitely worth doing. Scum is a great faction, but again, thank you very much for joining us, Amy. And guys, thank you very much for watching this video. As always, do please like the video, subscribe to the channel and click that notification bell, and we will see you again next time.